So looking back on your career and experience, what would you view as like the most important thing like new counselors should do?
Make sure you want to be a counselor. I think it's the biggest. I think knowing what a counselor is and knowing what the day in the life of a counselor looks like is really, really important, because you may love talking to your friends, you may love helping people. Let's use an example to illustrate this. So let's say your best friend of a lot of years, their mother just passed away. They just found out, they're grieving, they're very emotional. What is it like for you to make that phone call and reach out to that friend? Because it's going to be a heavy phone call. They're going to cry. There's not going to be really any great thing to say to them right now. You can't bring their mom back. You can't take away their pain. There's no fixing this. It's a hard and heavy call to make because you're exposing yourself to their raw emotion and choosing to sit with it with them. That's what you're doing every day, all day as a counselor. And that's also one reason why you can only see really realistically 20-ish clients a week. You can't see 40 clients a week and expect yourself to be mentally and emotionally okay. You need time to pour back into yourself. You need time to read and think about the direction you're taking with each one of your clients. You need time for your own mentorship, your own supervision. So someone's investing into you, because I found the more I invest into myself, the more I read, the more I expose myself to great people who are wiser and smarter and have been there before, the more I'm able to give, the more information or just the more emotional depth I'm able to access, the more wisdom I'm able to offer, simply because I'm exposing myself to it, not because I'm naturally that way. And so at first, for a long time, I had to fight the voice in my head of you're being selfish, or, this is you time, by taking time every week to sit and read or listen to podcasts and expose myself to these really great individuals. But I've really learned that I'm able to serve better. I'm able to give better. I'm able to lean back in better, whether it's me mentoring my staff, supervising my staff, or it's working with my clients. And so I feel like I've gone off on a tangent. I want to circle back to what we were talking about, of really knowing you want to be a counselor, because it's you have to have the ability to let yourself go vulnerable with someone else's emotion. To really give true empathy, you have to feel and experience what they're going through, put yourself in those shoes and project back. And not everybody can do that. That's not a skill that you get from a book. That's not a skill you learn. It's a skill that comes innately from within, and your own things can get in the way. Whether it's a client who brings a story to the table that reminds you of your own, whether it's something that you have a lot of judgment around or a lot of strong opinions around, and it's hard to see objectively where they're coming from or how they feel the way they feel. And so the quote from Brene Brown that I love, that I'm working on with a lot of my staff, is you got to do this work to do this work. It's so true. You have to know what makes you tick, what helps you ground, so that you can catch yourself in the session. If something is triggering you, if something is overwhelming you, bring yourself back so you can stay present with them. So it's not about you. It's not about where you are or what your emotional experience is. You can lean into the client and help them with their experience. And so it's very exposing. We think that, the client's the one being exposed. We're exposing ourselves too, not in our own story, but are going there with them emotionally. We're riding an emotional roller coaster after every session with what the client's bringing to the table. And so it's knowing that's what our work is. And knowing that you're not going to make a bajillion dollars being a counselor. This is not the field to go in if you want to make a lot of money. It's about, I want to help people, and I'm ready to slow down, put myself to the side for a second and be present with somebody else. I'm ready to make that phone call to that friend a few times a day, and sit with whatever emotion that client's bringing.
Just really coming to the conclusion, be like, can I mentally be there for someone day in, day out, seeing different clients and presenting myself and being present for them?
A good litmus test is think about the last few times you had a phone call with a parent, with a friend, with another family member. How much of that time did you listen? And how much of that time did you talk? And when you were listening, were you listening to understand and completely get where they're coming from? Or are you listening in preparation to say the next thing? Of what am I going to say next? Pay attention to that, because that's ultimately the skill set that we're looking at, of listening to understand, truly getting where that person's coming from versus, okay, I'm ready to talk.
So if I'm so scared, I'm going to sit in front of like a client. And Hannah, I don't know if you feel similar to this, but I feel like I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, like what have I been studying like all this time? And so it's really reassuring just to feel like it'll come naturally. Just it's okay to keep learning, but just be present, be someone to they can listen to. So that's really a great point.